Welcome to Real Music Works, and my name is Michael NARANJO. I'm going to be sharing with you how it all began. I have spent many years in the pursuit of the field of music and its various offices and departments, ranging from in front of the glass or behind the glass, meaning being out there singing live, sessioning, being called up for this or that, spreading yourself out as a musician, growing by not just sticking to one instrument. It opens up a lot of opportunities. And I learned all of this very slowly because growing up, there was no internet. There was no YouTube or how to. In my case, I come from a little town and there was really nothing going on except a couple of friends who got together and made some music. And that is what got me excited, because I felt that, my appearance didn't really matter. My background didn't really matter. Whether I could speak the language, which is so diverse in South Africa, or not, didn't matter. It was the music that kind of got us together as kids. So by being a young man at the age of probably about 13 or 14, I used to write a lot. Teenagers, that's a crazy time in your life where, you got to grab onto something and roll with it. That's how it was for me. But I realized that I really enjoyed entertainment. I really enjoyed music. And it got to a stage where I would like peek in, because I would hear my dad play. It's, as you're growing up, these things are happening around you, but then sort of when the moment of interest hits you, you pay attention to it. It could be sports, it could be anything, it could be music. In this case, it could be acting, it could be anything. And in my case, my dad would pull out his acoustic guitar and start playing. He would demand privacy so he could have his own space. And my dad loved folklore argentino, which is an Argentine folk music. It's sort of the heritage music of the Argentine people, but it's also spread across South America in different, dialects, different forms. And so my dad was very where he came from was Argentina, so that was all over there at that point in time. So he played. He put the guitar on the other leg, Paco de Lucia kind of vibe. But he liked the Horacio Guaraní, he liked Los Llaneros, he liked Los Solimareños, Los Chalchaleros. Carlos Gardel, he also liked the tango. So he had a lot of that, but he never showed it. But when he played it, something happened. I remember it just came up, and it just pulled the tears right out of me. I didn't know what was happening to me, but now that I look back, it was the moment that the frequency of music hits you and it chooses you. I don't want to sound silly, but I felt that music had chosen me to be discovered. I remember going to the junkyard. My dad would, Saturdays he would have some time off and have me and my brother, we'd go outside and clean up the backyard. And I had a little radio with one speaker, and it was crazy. My brother had a double cassette deck, and I had my head between it, and something happened. I heard stuff in stereo and spread it out. I was like, there's a little world inside of it. So I would, when my brother wasn't around or going to play tennis or whatever, I would sit like that and just listen to the radio, and it was just spread out. It wasn't so. Life is beautiful with what you see, but when you hear the beauty of, it's like in colors for me. So my dad, coming back to my dad and us working in the backyard and pulling out all the weeds and putting them in the bakkie or the truck, and we would go to the rubbish dump and throw it out. And I would see sometimes a pile of speakers, like huge piles of speakers lying. And they were all bust, but I was small, I didn't really know, but I got really wow. I went to go and fetch it, picked it up, put it in the back of the bakkie or the truck, and my dad would say, "What you doing?" And those things are I'm like, yeah, just I just want to take him with, you know. But I like magnets. So by the time I got home, I would, you know, I'd have a look at it. I'd open up that little radio of mine, and the next thing, I mean, one thing led to another. In a bit of time, I realized how to connect the wires. And then I put these huge speakers on the desk, leaning against the wall with the table against the wall, and I would just sit there, and I was hoping that the radio wouldn't blow up. But when I pressed it, it wasn't just spread out and all in stereo and beautifully like it. It wasn't just cut. So now there was bottom end, there was this bass that came through, even though there was the crackles and coming through the cones of the speakers. But these speakers were like big. I mean, I was a kid listening to this little one speaker about that big on a little block, like little cassette deck thingy. That opened up the world to me. And funny enough, in that time, I heard on this little radio station called Radio Pulpit, and the radio presenter was running a show, competition, and looking for talent across the country. So it was a Christian radio station. So I went to the kitchen and I was bugging my mom and my dad, firstly for a guitar of my own or some sort of thing that I can get running, because my dad wouldn't allow me to play his guitar. So that was a no-go. But when he wasn't looking, I'd do it. And then my dad had a natural, I don't know what you call it, but I think it's sort of a natural pitch where you can tune it in and it's, you know, pitch perfect. He had it, so he didn't need a tuner. He had it. He would just keep it in tune. So every time I played a bit, I would tune it in at least as close to what he had. So that happened after a long while. I would listen to the radio and play with the songs on the radio, you know, Bryan Adams tunes, Michael Bolton tunes, Richard Marx tunes, Bon Jovi tunes, Def Leppard. And then some neighbors would like lend me some crazy CDs. And I heard, and my mind was blown when I heard things that weren't played on radio, such as Iron Maiden, Metallica, Pantera, Rage Against the Machine. Was like, what is this? I lost my head. I was into hip hop already, but I never heard hip hop like that. And it was a combination of that world and its motif, and it just blew my mind. But coming back to the story, to the competition, I went in the kitchen and I bugged my mom. I said, "Mom, listen, I need to go somewhere to record a demo," and I did. My dad had a friend who was an electrician at the factory where he was working at the feeds, and he took me one Saturday morning to go and meet this guy. I don't know. My dad was very like he never spoke, so he would just say, "Hey, listen, let's get up. We gotta go and see to this guy. I think he can help you, okay?" So I was like, "Okay, no problem." So I would grab my little acoustic guitar and get ready. I'd pitch up early Saturday morning, and he would go to work, and I'd be with this dude, mustache, glasses, very like, you know, very, 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 very cool Afrikaans. That would be in translation, a very cool Afrikaans uncle. And so he leads me to this room and takes this cloth off this desk, and there it is. There's this huge desk, multi-track, Tascam tape thing. I was like, oh, this is a studio. And I already was turned on with the left and the right, just from what I heard in front of me. So I asked him a lot of questions, and this uncle helped me so much. He played the Afrikaans Buddha music, and I was blown away because these chords were like, whoa, these are like jazz chords. This is like world class. This is like out there. I mean, this guy was moving them like this and that, and I was like, what? He allowed me to play on his Fender Strat. It was white. I was just, what? What good time. It's just, now that I'm thinking back on all of that. So he helped me record like 2 or 3 demos, and they sounded terrible, but everybody, oh, it sounded bad. But anyway, so coming back to the story, to the competition, I finally entered, and it was called the Tehila Music Competition. And there was 1 or 2 and a couple more that came after that. And some really great singers came out of that competition. Actually, they're still doing their thing today. You know, I remember the year that I took part, Rochelle Liederman was the winner. And I was so freaked out at the end of the concert because I made the first round here in Cape Town in Paris Civic Centre. And then from there, they took it up to, I think it was Para or Goodwood, something like that. So, and then we were invited to go to Pretoria because I made it to the top 100, and I was like, what? I only know 3 songs. And these kids they were sounding like, I mean, there was this kid, Raymond Saliers, and there was just so many. I say kid, now they're all men and grown women and people following a very, very tough career. I was given the prize of being the best songwriter, and I came second overall. But you got to understand, there were 100. There were choirs. There were these kids that could really sing, and that was my start. That was the Tehila music competition. That was my introduction of slowly falling in love with music and coming into the fold. It was a crazy time, the Tehila music competition. Yeah, the judges loved it. People got on their feet and rocked out. So let's, and I'm going to be sharing, and they released a couple of songs. We were called up to record a couple of songs in professional studios. And yeah, that's how it all began. In the beginning, with Real Music Works. I'm signing out. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please follow us on social media. And please connect with us and let us know what you think. Take care and God bless.